Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Crystal. I go by Plants with Crystal here, and today I wanted to update you on a tree fern pole that I used in a video. I believe it was in November.
You look pretty. You look nice.
And I showed you how I put my plant up against it, and I was gonna update you on its progress and what I think. So I figured I would show that, and then I could also share some alternatives. So let's just go ahead and get right into the video. So I've been keeping my monstera adansonii variegated plant in here with its tree fern pole. And
Yay.
this is what it's looking like. I keep it in my small cabinet here, and I have definitely noticed significant growth, and you could see the leaves started. So I lost all the lower leaves. I talked about what that transition was like when I brought it from Florida. The bottom leaves dropped, and so I was just left with the top ones, and all the top ones since then, these are original leaves, since then have been just getting larger. And as soon as one pops out, another one comes out in its place. Look at that. Just look. Do you see that? Oh, it's just beauty and grace, and oh, I love it. Before I show you a close-up of just kind of what the aerial roots are doing, let me read what the actual pole, like what they describe it to do. And this is just from the listing of where I got it. So it says, the perfect mounting surface, tree fern totems, also known as tree fern plaques, tree fern slabs, tree fern mounts, are ideal for use with all epiphytes, aroids, and climbing plants, orchids, monstera, philodendrons, pothos, air plants, and more. Less watering, it says, So New Zealand tree fern is a denser, spongier growing media and retains moisture better than Central or South American tree fern, corkboard, bark, and driftwood mounts. Okay. It's responsibly harvested and fully sustainable. Fernwood follows a highly sustainable, low-impact harvesting program under the strict oversight of the New Zealand government. As far as watering, I'm not 100% sure if you're supposed to keep this damp. I would assume so, or at least give it some kind of moisture at some point. I did that when I shared how to put it on there, but I haven't been doing that very well. And that's a reason why I tend to avoid moss poles, is because I know that I'm not going to be keeping them damp as they should be. It's still growing nicely. As far as just like general fallout, I think that's one of the cons of this. It can be very messy. Like right now, as I'm just touching it, I don't know if you can see that, but it just falls. It's gritty and it kind of crumbles. It's not I mean, it's not too bad, but just something I wanted to mention. So another con of this is that it's not extendable. So I would say if you want to try this, then maybe start with the smaller plant, because this outgrew its pole very quickly. It was like 2 months, and that was that. So either one, they come out with the way to extend it, or just focus on having small plants attached to it. As far as the aerial roots and them attaching, they're definitely trying. So there's this one that's trying to go in there. And let me bring this one down, and here's this one on the top that's also trying to do the same thing. So I do think that this would eventually attach, but like I said, it's outgrowing this pole, so I don't think that I'm gonna keep it on here, but I will be trying this on a smaller plant and see how that does. So as a whole, would I purchase this again, or would I recommend it? I would say that it is more expensive. You get 2 poles for 40 bucks. It helped to support my plant. I think it did its job. It felt like less maintenance, and I like it. Will I be trying it again? Yes. I think I'm gonna put either my philodendron shake on it, or I have a epipremnum that is actually coming in the mail. Go back. Go back to your hole. You stay nice and toasty, okay? Okay. So a reason you may consider getting a moss pole or starting a moss pole is because you want to have a plant that is well supported, but you also want to encourage the plant to hold on to it, and those roots and aerial roots will eventually start to attach to the moss, which then allows you to chop and then put right into the growing medium. So it's easier to make a full plant when you have it on a moss pole. You also will find that you get bigger and larger leaves as it grows taller. Some things to consider though is you do have to keep that moss damp. You could spray that moss down every few days. You could also put a watering globe at the top. I've seen people use like water bottles that they cut holes from the top and then just like feed it through so it waters the pole. But I find that that can be very high maintenance, especially if you are a person that has a lot of plants. I have over 200 house plants, and the thought of watering the plants along with the moss poles and keeping an eye out on that, I feel like it's just not something that I want to add to my plant care. Also, depending on your environment, especially right now during the winter time that we have the heat on, your moss is going to dry out so much faster, and so you're always kind of going and checking on that moss pole. But yeah, I think it just really depends on your preference. They work, they just don't work very well for me and my lifestyle. So if you're feeling the same way and you don't want to really dabble into the moss pole world, then here are some other options for you too. If you have a tall and thin plant like this is a Syngonium albo, and it's just very floppy, and you just want something to keep encouraging it to grow up and not fall over, then a bamboo hoop like this is a good option. I just use clips just like this, or you could use Velcro straps just like this to help support it. So as it grows, then you can continue to clip, and then you can propagate and adjust as you want, but I like my hoops. Or if you don't like that bamboo look, you could also find a trellis like that in a clear form. And so I have the same thing going on there. I'm just supporting the stem with a clip. Bamboo stakes. Again, this is just for support purposes. It's not to encourage aerial roots or anything to grasp onto it, but it's just so that it doesn't fall over. So I have 2 bamboo stakes on it, just like this, so that it's not floppy and it's nice and upright. I have twine attached to the base of this, and then Velcro straps as well. And goodness knows, sometimes you just need something really quick, or you just don't want to be all fancy with it. And so you use a skewer stick or a chopstick, whatever you have. And this one, this is exactly what I've done with this one. This was just a skewer stick. And so I have a pack of these. It's what you would use if you do shish kebabs, that same stick. So go and just put it up against the stem. I need to adjust it a little bit more, but it's really so it doesn't just fall right over. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy. It could be whatever you have around you. Something like a Hoya, it's great to encourage those tendrils or those vines that are coming off of it. It's nice to have some kind of support to them so that they could keep growing those leaves on those tendrils. And so you may want to get a trellis for them too. So they have different kinds. You have big hoops. There's another with the clear one. So you wrap around the tendrils just like this around the large hoop. It's pretty sturdy. It's a metal trellis. So that's a perfect alternative too. And then you might want to do something a little creative. So you could always use a wire. This is actually a bonsai wire I have created into a cactus shape, a cactus, and I'm using this to support my Hoya New Guinea ghost. And so same deal, I'm using the clips, and then as it grows, I will guide it. Once it fills in, it's gonna look pretty awesome. Imagine a cactus shape Hoya. I love it. If you like the wire look, you could also do a wire just like this. And so this is a copper wire. If you do something like this, I would say to use a thicker wire, so like a 9-gauge wire. I believe this one is a 12, but you could wrap it around the base of whatever you're using. So this is actually a pothos and water, and so I just wrap the wire along the top, and then I could just kind of dress it up, so it just gives it a cool funky look in the top of my fridge. Just for like styling purposes, it doesn't really have any function other than it just looks cool. It just looks fun up there. If you have monsteras or you have something that's very heavy, a moss pole, bamboo stakes, over time that's not going to be very sturdy for it, and you're going to have it fall over. So I use metal trellises. This one is for my big baby right here, and I use either twine or Velcro to secure the stems, not the petioles, but the stem of the plant. I use that to support it to the trellis. If you have something that is large and in charge and very heavy, my best recommendation is some kind of wood plank. And so you have to put that wood plank deep into your pot and your soil. So you want to have something that's not going to rot easily. And so cedar plank has worked for this mama. I'm currently air layering my monstera so I could cut it once it gets too tall for the top. But this is how she looks, and she's tied and supported to it. So I have the stems tied to the wood plank versus the petioles, the leaves. And so you want to follow the stem and attach. So plants and plant care and accessories can already be expensive. So utilize the things that you have. You can find alternatives, cheaper alternatives too. You don't have to feel like you are just confined to one thing and use that. You could try so many different ways. Just figure out what is the goal for you and your plant. What do you want it to look like? And then you could figure out what is going to work for you and your lifestyle. So I hope that this helped. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave links to the items and the support things that I use in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.